Well, greetings and salutations. So Riley postponed. He had actually done so in a text below the invitation video. He postponed till tomorrow because he's got to travel home today. Um, and I even told him because he was actually talking about he was going to stay just to do this hangout at wherever he's at. Um, and I told him I was ready to give him a ration of shit if he was going to postpone family for flat Earth. Um, so he's postponing till tomorrow, so that's fine. There was something else I wanted to bring up today anyway, and I figured I guess there's actually two things that I want to bring up. Number one, D Marble put out a worthless video about going up north, uh, but wait for a short video on that from me. That was hysterical. What's going on, guys? Um, But today in one of Nathan's hangouts, they didn't address me specifically, which I don't know why, but I kind of do know why. But Riley brought up an image, and I have to share this with you. I really do. He brought up an image, and that image is quite simply uh, this right here. Now he says, now I cannot confirm this. I have not found out where the source is. But he says somebody named Chris. Don't ask me what the last name was. It sounded like he kind of flubbed it. Um, he said that somebody named Chris modeled this as if it were a true representation, a true three-dimensional model of these uh, what these turbines would look like if it were over a globe. Were the words that they were using, obviously trying to state that it doesn't look the same. Hallelujah. And so now this is what I'm going to cover here. For everybody who just showed up, Riley postponed. We're doing that one tomorrow. And no, I don't think D Marble's FECore. Um, but this is what I wanted to show you. Now, according to whoever the source is, this is Riley actually said in the hangout. It was the first of the two hangouts today. He said that this was an exact representation of what should be going on over a globe. Even if it didn't have anything to do with this, this is a lie. Okay, I'm going to honestly say this is a lie. I'll show you why in a second here. Now, first of all, apparently, I think Riley was trying to say that that this was actually modeled due to this photograph. Well, let me tell you a couple of things that's wrong with that. Number one, there are only 7 turbines here. There are 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 of them right here. Interesting enough? Easy enough? Got it? Cool. So number one, that's wrong. But it doesn't have to be that doesn't have to be a perfect thing. Of course not. 7 out of 9. That's good for FE. The second part is, now this is supposedly a three-dimensional model. Riley even said it. He said it in the hangout. He said that the front one here was about 11 miles away, per the model. Front one here was about 11 miles away. The back one here was about 13 miles away. Those were his words. Okay? Those were his words. So, now, of course, you see these, and you see these. Now, even if you crop this up, okay, let's just forget for a second. Even if you crop this up, now on this one, there seems to be a gap between the third and fourth one, and then between the fifth and sixth one. There seems to be a gap between those. Okay, it's not in this image. However, do you see the parallax distortion here? Okay, which meaning how it goes wider to narrower to narrower. Okay, now that is something that you would expect to see if you were a lot closer to it, not something you would expect to see if it were far away. I'll show you why. And then now that's I'll show you why in a second, because we're actually going to model this out right here live, just so y'all can see. Now the second problem that I had was the bottoms. Does anybody see a problem here? Now people will read in the comments later what things that what anomalies were shown here. Okay, understand this. Here is supposedly the horizon over the curve in this 3D model. Okay, now what do you see happening before it gets to the curve? The turbine, the bottom parts of the turbine seem to shrink vertically. They literally begin to shrink. They go down way too fast before they even get to the horizon. They start going down. Now, of course, things will get smaller as they go off in a greater distance. Okay, it is a very simple thing that things will get smaller. It's called angular size or angular resolution, depending on how detailed into that discussion you want to go. So what I did, now this is actually what's being shown. Now the ones that are in the red outline here, what I did was basically I just left them to scale, each one of these to scale. Okay, I made it so you can't mess with it. Oh, well, I can now. When I made it, you couldn't. I have to go back in here and do this. Size and position. My bad. Lock aspect. Okay. So let's because that was an interesting little phenomena. Let's just go here. Watch. I'll get rid of these. Now, the lines that I've drawn here are the inside of the arcs of this door, the tier where one would stand, and of course the lower half of the uh, of the tower itself. Cool. Now, oh, I know Control Z, but that's not what I was looking to do, man. Now, watch this. Now, currently, right now, I have this set to I can only change the size. I can't change the aspect. Okay, so I can't shrink it or anything like left or right. I can only shrink it uniformly. So let's go ahead and get this here. Okay, so this one. Oops. So this one seems to be conforming to what it's supposed to do. This one, inside the arc, set up on the tier, this one, oops, seems to be conforming to what it's supposed to do. Meaning that the water level is the same percentage distance from here as it is to here, as it is to here, as you would expect in things going off into the distance. But now, see a problem here? This one, it should be, I mean, if they were doing something correctly here, the distance from the tier down to the water, it should have been, it shouldn't be extending below the water here. And this is before the horizon, mind you. This is not after the horizon. This is before the horizon. See this one? Same thing. Okay? And we'll call it as this one is the last one before the horizon. Because the other one you could argue is actually beyond the horizon. Now, do you see this? Okay, this model was made directly false. Draw straight lines from the same points, first two objects. Yeah, that's also something. Now, yeah, but no, this is supposedly a model of what things would look like over the curve. Okay, now what's happening here is that these things are vertically shrinking before they get to the horizon, but not uniformly with their horizontally shrinking. See what I'm saying? And so obviously this is not only is this model been made falsely, Okay, which means that the guy who modeled it, he had these three here, and then he started manually lowering these instead of letting the 3D program do what it's supposed to do. Okay, so and now according to Riley, this is from somebody in FECore, uh, somebody named Chris in FECore. Anybody feel free to put the name of whoever, Chris Monk or something like that, Moncelli or whatever it is. I couldn't really catch what Riley said was the last name, but somebody named Chris in FECore. So we got that. Now I would love to draw lines along the tops of this. But unfortunately, as with the same problem that is in the image itself, it's very difficult to find a single point of reference on any of these just because of the fact that all the blades are in the way. I would love to, but we can't. Okay, but why can we see the bases at 11 miles? Why can you see the bases at 11 miles? Well, unfortunately, the picture that is provided by Riley, who I believe is, the photo is actually Ranty's. How high is that base? Okay. And oh, I think you're talking about the graphic. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting involved in the chat here. Hold on a second. So basically what we're going to do is, first thing that I want to find out is how can I get 9 of these guys to match this particular spread of parallax, and if it really would match something being viewed from 11 miles away. Now, mind you, in this particular case, and I said this yesterday, this image here is the most worthless proof of globe or flat Earth. You got to understand that, because according to the rough estimates that were given when this was actually released, this is only the distance between the front one and the back one is only 2 miles. Okay, you're not going to see an arc at 2 miles or across 2 miles. You're just not going to see it, especially not in this configuration. You're not going to see it at all, period. It's going to appear to be a straight line only because of the mere fact of, yes, perspective, okay, or angular resolution, as it's more properly called. Perspective is an artistic term, people. But nevertheless, we'll put it like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab over here, and we're going to do this now. Given the very short span that this is supposedly covering, okay, and the short span that this one is, the 2 miles that this is supposedly covering, whether it's on a globe or it's on a sphere or on an arc or anything, or on a donut, who cares? There's not going to be much difference in the appearance. I showed this yesterday. Now, unfortunately, yesterday I got to messing with that file after I did that hangout, and I saved over it, meaning that I made changes afterwards. I was trying to move things around. I was trying to see if I could put together a long Soundly type arc to show what it would do, and unfortunately, I saved over the one where I stopped at yesterday. So, my bad. We'll just make a new one, and I'll do it right here live. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make these towers 100 meters tall, and I'm going to put them across a plane. Okay, mind you, a plane. The only reason why I'm putting them across a plane is because of the fact that I want to get, because this parallax, the distance between here and then how it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, would not be different. Okay, it just wouldn't. This horizontal distance, there's not enough here for these things to be like leaning away from each other for it to make any difference. However, so the horizontal distances would not change. So I want to know exactly how it is that you can get this particular distortion, because according to Riley, This one from the camera, this one's 11 miles away, har har. And the last one, the 9th one back here, is 13 miles away. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to do it in 3D for everybody to see. So show grids. I'll get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, it'd be better if I converted all this to meters because then it converts easier. So what I'm going to get here, I'm going to pull out Google, and then we're going to go from miles to kilometers. Do it right here. Okay, so miles to kilometers. Now, they said this is 11 miles to here, and then out to the last one is 13 miles. Okay, so I want to know 11 miles is 17.7. We'll just say 17.7 kilometers. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm just going to lay a tape. So I need to know how far these are going. Okay, so each one of these is 10 meters. So each one of these is 100 meters. So each one of these is a kilometer. So if I back up even further, that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 kilometers. Or, excuse me, 17.7 kilometers, excuse me. So that puts it out to there. 17.7 kilometers. Now I'm just going to put a little thing here, a little sphere, just to mark that point in case I got to move around. Okay, so starting from the main, it's going to move all the way out to there. Hold on a second here. Did Riley? No, for anybody who's just joining, Riley postponed way prior to this hangout. Riley postponed until tomorrow because he had to travel home. So, and I told him I was cool with that. So tomorrow at what was it, 17:30 or 19:30 UTC. Okay. So 17.7 kilometers, which is 11 miles. Now we'll push out to the 13 miles, which is 20.9. Okay, 20.9, which pushes us all the way out to, that's 20. Oops. 20.9 kilometers. So this is the 11 mile mark. This is the 13 mile mark, however, converted to kilometers. Now, like I said, I'm going to be doing this in across a plane, just because. Oh, I ain't going to let them dance around nothing, you know. Don't worry about that. So let's put up some 100-meter towers. Cylinder. 100 meters. Oops. So let's make these right at 100 meters. Like that. Scale this down. Actually, I want 2 of them on there. Oops. Oh, trash that. Bring the radius down a little bit. So I got those 2. So now I'm going to go like this. Go like this. I'm going to bring this down to that lower location. Oops. Make sure that I that, and then I'm going to go like this, narrow it down a little bit towards the top. Okay, I am not going to model the blades, guys. Sorry about that. I'm just not going to do it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to... Now, did they use a rounded one? Yeah, they kind of did. So let me go ahead and make an egg then. Let's see, cylinder. No, sphere. And rotate it like this. Like that. Okay, so that is our Vince Lombardi inspired wind turbine. Okay, so got that. Give us a blob for them to sell. Well, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I got that there. So now the first one is right here. This is the 11 mile marker. Move these up a little bit. Okay, so now the easiest way to do this, now he's got 9 of them. So I'm going to go like this, put this out to here. Now all I'm going to do is make just a measuring stick, that's all. So I need to make sure I do 8 of these, which will make, which will be the position for 9 of them, because segments of 8 does not include the last line, so that makes 9 lines. So, how about this? Cylinder. Alright, that. Yeah, something like that. And then instead of making an arc, I'm just going to make a box for the door. Okay. Because yes, this is how much fun you have to diagnose these claims from flat earthers. So, but that's about down there. That seems about fair. And then 90. Put this towards the front. And of course, make the whole thing a nice white. All this stuff over the other window. So that gives us a white one. Now, we'll take that, make it a group, and let's get 9 of them out there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So y'all able to hear me on the new microphone? It's kind of far away from me right now, but all right. So that's each of those. Now I'm just going to make a plane. What the heck just happened? Okay, so first of all, I got to rotate this because 90, and then of course a little quiet at times. I'm sorry. Okay, so go like this. Make sure we go like this. Let's back up here. Sorry, I had to readjust it here as far as the viewing angles. I didn't realize I was drawing in the wrong angle. So, front, top. We'll go ahead and make a box. This box now let's see here. Of course, we got to make sure we do this here. Now that we're working in kilometers, the going circumference of the Earth in kilometers is 40075 divided by 360 equals 111.319 kilometers per degree of curvature. Okay, now I'm going to do this in half because I'm not going to make a big long worthless thing there. Okay, so 55.66. 55.66. You'll see in a minute why I'm doing this. So, oh, I almost had it perfect. 55 55. Yeah, because we're in meters. 660. 55.66. 660 meters, right? Okay, so that gets us. That is a block that is 55 kilometers long. I'm going to go ahead and give this. What was that? That was width, right? Yeah. I'm going to give this 200 vertexes. You'll see why all that is in a moment. So, there's my playing field. Oops. Put it right up to the edge there. You know it does that. Close enough. So now all I got to do is take a camera. We're going to make it a target camera. Put it at the start there. And I'm going to go ahead and have it focus on the last guy, which should be lined up perfectly right now, right? Oh, no, it's not, because I moved everything over a little bit. Okay, now it's focused right on the last guy. Front. So the height that I have right now, everything is in meters right now. So the height that I have, I got it at 18 meters. Okay. So I'm going to do this. We'll do a different layout here. I'll go ahead and do this layout. This is going to be front. This is going to be camera 1. Okay. So let's move this up because I'm only going to be doing to and fro there. First thing I need to do is obviously zoom in because right now I'm at 45 degrees field of view. So let's go ahead and zoom into P900 strength. Oops. Go all the way down to 1 degree. Okay, 1 degree is a little bit too small. Okay, now this is across a plane. Now, at 18 meters, you obviously notice that you will see the bottoms of every single one of the towers. Every single one of them. That's what you will see on a plane. Now, we need to offset it just a little bit. Like I said, it's staying focused on the last one. Now, at the stated 11 miles, you'll notice that because of the distance the spread is there's a little bit more here, a little bit less there, but damn sure not this much versus that much. Okay. Now if I move out, it just looks less and less apparent. Okay, and we'll go ahead and render that. I still got those two spheres out there. Let me get a bigger size here. Put that to 720. So that's how that's going to look. And notice, none of these things shrink down into the ground. None of them do. I mean, there's not much else to be said on that particular point. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this closer. Now this is the distance. This is the, actually this goes all the way out to the last one, so this is actually a 13-mile stretch right here between the camera and that. Zoomed way in. Hold on a second here. Flat Earth Crush has a working Flat Earth model. Yeah, I saw that. And let me know when he's got one that actually works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get closer. And then move a little bit like that. And then get a little closer. And then zoom out some. Oops, that's zooming in. And then get a little bit closer. Maybe move over a little bit. Zoom out some more. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong one. And then get a little bit closer. Maybe even move over a little bit closer there. You see what's happening here? The spreading between the front two and the back two is becoming greatly different. And looks like I'm going to have to start looking up. Let's go ahead and make it something that I actually can see. So turn that up a little bit. By the way, yes, Nathan, this is two-dimensional orthographic view. This is how you get the size differences to judge how big something is going to be at a distance. So let me go ahead and move a little closer. And that is starting to look pretty much top. Oops. I would say that's pretty close to the sprint. No, actually it's not. Actually it's not. And you know what they did? They changed the lens. Wait a minute. Hold on. How did they get that? Oh, that's right. Because they pushed the damn things down. That's right. Okay. My bad. So let's get a little closer. Now, oops. Yeah, it would help if I was on the right screen. Now this is starting to look a little bit closer to this. Oops. I can't seem to get them both. Hold on. Okay. You see where we're going with this? The spread decreases in size greatly as it goes on, and I'm not even saying that this is 100%. They actually have to widen the field of view and get even closer and spread these out to a greater distance, which I think is what is actually the reason why I'm having a difficult time matching these, is because of the fact that it should actually get a lot smaller and it should actually get a lot closer. So that means that's not a 2-mile distance between the front one and the back one anyway. Yes, parallel lines do not intersect. Now, I am a whopping, what did I say it was, 18 meters off the water? Let's see here. I am 18 meters off the water. This is just to get this close. Okay, let's go ahead and just bring it way down. Okay, so that's that. There's about 5 meters. Okay, so we'll render that. Okay, now do you see what the problem is here? Okay, what distance am I away from these things now? I mean, they're in the same screen. The distance I'm away, and this is not even close enough, and these are not spread far enough apart. I was trying to be true to what was being said as the measurements. So, hold on a second here. Tape. Now I'm going to say that between the first one and the camera is maybe 2 kilometers. 2,354 meters. That's to get this close to what they showed. Now, obviously, they have these at a much greater distance from each other. It is not designed to be that photograph that they used. Now, here's the other part. If across a plane, no matter how low I go, if across a plane, there's going to be no part where this does not uniformly shrink. Uniformly. That means left to right. That means top to bottom. Uniformly shrink. There's going to be no place where it doesn't do that. So this part here, now I realize that they're trying to claim that's what happens on a globe. This here wouldn't happen. Okay, and there would be no part of this. Whoops, the heck was all that? There would be no part of this on across a flat plane that you wouldn't see the bottom of each and every one of them, even if I extend these out to the middle of nowhere. There's no place where it wouldn't. You would always see the bottoms, and they would always, from your point of view, they would always angle upwards towards the horizon. If they have taken the 2 photos where I think they have, the distance are 11.9 and 12 from the front to the back. 11.9 and 12, so it's even 1 mile. So even then, that makes it even less worth anything. So now let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun here, because research can be fun if you know what you're doing. Now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this camera all the way back. Actually, as a matter of fact, I am going to I'm going to grab this off of here. Oops. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of these tapes. Just get them out of the way. You'll see why in a second. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab the camera. Then I'm going to move it out of the way just for a moment. Let me go ahead and get this out of the way as well. And we'll get these out of the way. Now, let's go ahead and put this on a curved earth. Okay, first thing I'm going to do though is I have to make this so it's visibly usable. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to make that actually a darker blue color, which is going to be semi-transparent. And I'm going to apply that to that. But then I'm going to make a second one. That's going to be box 2, okay. Bring it right back up to its edge. I'm going to make that one a lighter blue. Wireframe. And then we'll group both of those together. Water. So I just gave it a little bit of color so we'll be able to know what's going behind the curve and what's not. Now, I'm going to grab this whole thing. Now remember, we did this as half a degree of curve. We didn't do it as a full degree of curve. Otherwise, it would have been 111 kilometers, but I have this as 55.66. So let me go ahead and group this. And actually, as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and copy it as well. Because I want to make sure that I have one on a plane and one off the plane. Like that. Go ahead and freeze that. That's going to be the one that remains on the plane. So, front. Grab this. Now I got to move the pivot. Pivot only. Otherwise the bend goes weird. Put it right up here at the corner. Okay. And now we're going to bend it. And I'm going to make sure I get the right angles. Go ahead and... Nope, that's not it. There we go. So first thing I'm going to do is this is the orientation of the bend. So we'll put that at 0. Seems to be right. And then the actual angle of the bend is 0.5. So we can all see where that's going. Okay? What is Sly doing now? Fino, what I'm doing is I'm actually putting this on a curved earth so we can see what we are supposed to see. Okay, so, and then we'll rotate it. Rotational 0.5. Oops, forgot, gotta do it out here. So 0.5, like that. And then we'll go ahead and bring it down to right here so both of them have the same starting point. So, now, unfreeze all. Now what I just did, you'll notice the difference between the two of them. What I just did was, one of them is now on a bent surface to scale to the curvature of the earth, and one of them is not. One of them is across a plane. Now I'm going to take both of these cameras. These are actually two cameras sitting next to each other. I'm going to bring them down to the exact same heights. And we'll put them at a nice, I don't know, 10 meters above the water. This could go up a little bit. That matches that up. And then we'll take, I need to know which camera I'm looking at there. This one. Take this guy, front. Put it. Okay, that one's pointed right at the throat, so I'm going to point this one right here at the throat. Now this was for which one? Camera 1 target. So I'm going to go ahead and grab camera 1. Camera 1 is curve cam. And grab the other one. Camera 2, flat cam. So let's see what we can see. I'm going to go over to change this view again here, but this time I'm going to change it a little bit different. I'm going to do 1 and 2, curve cam, flat cam, front, okay, bam. like that. Okay, so you guys have seeing what I'm doing here, right? Now, wait, why is that called camera 1? That shouldn't be camera 1. It should be curve cam. Well, I guess the name didn't carry over. Oh well. So we'll take camera 1. We'll zoom. Which one is that? Okay, we'll zoom that in. This is the curve cam. Okay, it's already at 10 meters up. It's already beyond the curvature. Oops. Oh, I was pointing at the right one. Okay, already behind the curvature. So saying that this is representative of a globe is bullshit. Now, we'll take flat cam, zoom it in. Oops. Flat cam, we should see all of the bottoms. Every last one of them. Got that? Every last one of them. You should see the bottoms. Now, this right here is just a coincidence because of the fact that, well, I don't know if it's actually perfectly in line, but I think my camera is almost at the height of the tier. But, yeah. So, now let's get a little bit more fun to it. Make it look a little bit more like the actual photo as far as alignment goes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like this, cameras. No, I want to go from the top, because what I want to be able to do is I want to take that camera and that camera and move them simultaneously. And we'll go ahead and move them like this. Okay, now you tell me if there's something usably measurable between this is from the curved, and this. The only things that you would know, the things that you would notice as being different, which this photo doesn't seem to have, is the bottoms. Yeah, you could sit there and trace a line between these and come up with a very, very small arc, but this is across 2 miles. 2 miles. Okay. And 2 miles is nothing compared to the curvature of that. What is the ASL? You mean the zoom level? I'm at 1 degree on both. 1 degree field of view of both. You don't feel the spin? Yeah, well. That is what this should look like at scale. Just built it for you. It don't look like. Now, I'm not saying that there's one little caveat that I need to throw in here. Okay, there is one little caveat. I'm not saying that FECore built this to match this photo. However, I am saying that FECore bullshitted how they drew this for this reason. The first 3 of them looks like they were kind of doing something right, but then they started lowering the top, and then they pushed it down below the surface before it even got to the horizon. Oh, I'm sorry. Above sea level. I think I have them at 10 meters right now. Let me go ahead and look. Get that straight. Yep, both of them are at 10 meters. This is a 10-meter block. One block of this is 10 meters, makes this brick 100 meters, which makes this 1 kilometer, which pushes these all the way out. I forgot what the number was now. I think it was 17 kilometers to catch up to the 11 miles. 11 miles to 13 miles. Well, I could make them available to everybody, but this is easy shit. Plus, these would be saved. I mean, I can export them to object form, I guess. So, does anybody? I'm sure there's a couple of flat earthers in my chat right now. Does anybody see why? Does anybody not get why this is a lie? Too high to model the photo. Does anybody not get why this is a lie? They intentionally pushed it into the whatever the water level is here. They intentionally pushed it into the bottom of this to make it look exaggerated in the 3D model to really fake curvature. That's what they did on here. So whoever the designer of this was, now either they were doing something else, even though it is a lie what they modeled here. Please understand that. It is a lie what they modeled here. Riley used it today in Hangout to compare to this, so he could say that this was actually more what it would look like on flat Earth. So I don't know if we just want to call Riley a dumbass for bringing this up to compare to this, or well, it would have to be dumbass. I mean, it can't be anything else. Or he's intentionally lying because for some reason the bottoms here just totally escaped him. Yes, exactly, Bob. Things look like they are falling behind the curve before they reach the horizon. To whoever it was that modeled this, Chris whoeverness, okay, your horizon, given the arc that you have here, I think the highest point is actually, no, this one's actually at the higher point. It's tough to say exactly what kind of arc you had here going on here, but in short, it's a lie what you did. This is not representative of what would be going on across the surface of a spherical Earth. Whether you believe it or not, that doesn't matter. This is a false representation. So, whoever it is that actually designed the image or did the image for FECore, according to Riley, this was somebody from FECore. I might be wrong on that. Again, I'm going on Riley's word here. But whoever designed this image, yeah, you're full of shit, man. You might as well hang out with Dr. Zach. Well, let's talk about Riley's version of perspective. Riley is one of the people who there seems to be a growing craze right now among flat earthers to things to say that things get small twice. Okay, of course they don't say it gets small and twice because that would be absurd. Why would you say such a thing? But that is what they are claiming. Okay, that's what Nathan's claiming when he says that the Earth curve calculator doesn't take into account perspective because things get smaller, and most other flat earthers kind of fall along the same thing there. Okay, hey, we'll catch you later, man. They're basically saying that stuff gets smaller twice. Riley even said that it didn't get smaller twice, but then showed a diagram of things getting smaller twice at the same time in the same video. And it was a video of his own, which he put up on his thing. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and show you which diagram I'm talking about here. Let's see. I'll just go to here like this. Sleeping Warrior. I'll tell you what. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. It was Ballers Can't Horizon Part 2. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Where is it? Now he says in here that things don't get smaller twice, and he had a horrible time with what was actually being explained to him by this bridge here. But this is an illustration of how a mountain decreases in angular size due to the law of perspective. Okay, even though I just hate it when they got the lines in the wrong direction, but I'll leave it at that. But he says in here that things don't get physically smaller, but then he shows this. Curvature drop plus angular size reduction. A double effect. That's no bullshit, man. This is what he said. Okay? He's showing that things get smaller at the same time that they get further away. Things appear smaller because their angular size reduces, you moron. Okay? And I even wrote him that down here at the bottom. And then, of course, he was saying that there was some kind of 2 effects, but then he threw 4 into there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that seems to be the going thing right now among flat earthers, is that, yeah, that apparently things get small twice. They get physically smaller, and they lose angular resolution. So that was about as easy as I could do this. I'm sure I could put thousands of other things on this very simple model here and show any number of things as they get smaller due to distance. Probably could, but it's it kind of defeats the point, because if you're going to get people who come up with, oh, and by the way, Riley is also a new 5th dimension believer, which is the flat Earth version of God of the Gaps. Let's see. Hey, yeah, they lie. There's nothing else I can say about it. But there's just not much else to show you. I mean, honestly, I just made I don't know how long I've been on now, but I just made a very long hangout out of literally a 5-minute model. Flat earthers do not research. Flat earthers do not model. I am fully aware that apparently there is some kind of model of the Isle of Man and all this. Now, I've never gotten my hands on it, so I'm not going to give it any credulity. I'm just not going to. I'm not going to give it any merit because of the fact that I haven't seen the dimensions on it. I've seen a couple of little 3D things where they put these little cones all over a sphere. Nice to know that we're trying to talk about seeing halfway around the world. Dumbasses. Orthographic view. Yeah, orthographic view. Let's cover that real quick. That's a good idea, thanks. I'm gonna like this. Orthographic view is devoid of any and all 3-dimensional characteristics. You see what happened when I just did this? When I just moved this like this? This switched over to orthographic view. Okay. Now what that means is that at no matter what direction I turn something, and from what angle I look at it, for example, these horizontal lines will always be the same length. These vertical lines will always be the same length, no matter how far away they are from me. And it screws with your eyes a little bit, because it almost looks like it's getting wider, because your eyes are expecting to get smaller. Okay. Orthographic view is a thing. However, orthographic view is 2D in its finest form. That's all. Now, in case you want to say that cameras and all this other stuff, watch this. I can just go into perspective view. Thank you, art terminology. And now, as things get further away, they get smaller. As a matter of fact, I always screw this up though when it comes down to, because the moment you go to move something, if you're not on the right grid spot, the whole thing goes all over the place. Okay, but that's That's orthograph, or that's perspective view, which is the same as a camera. I think this does it at 45 degree field of view. I think, I'm not positive. So, oh, that's right. I did completely forget about that. Hold on a second. The one last thing I wanted to show. Now, according to Nathaniel, the side view, there should be a curve here. I mean, because this is arcing so much, as you can see. This is like arcing so much. Now, I'm going to look at it from the side with a camera this time, as opposed to just having the side view. Let's see. Let's go ahead like this. And I'll tell you what, I'm just going to let me do two things here. First thing I'm going to do, just so it's visible the whole time. This is the curved side. There's the camera target. I'm going to put the camera target to the middle one, just so I don't lose everything. Okay, and go back over to curve cam. Okay, so, and then I'm just going to orbit this. Whoa. Kind of hard to keep it level here. Oh, let me go ahead and zoom back out. Curve cam. Zoom out. Okay, now I'm going to try not to line it up with the ones that are over on the flat model on the other side there, even though they're going to kind of be off in the distance there. Those are the flat model ones down over there. Okay, now Nathan, go ahead and take a screen capture. Hold on, let me get them all in view. Got to zoom out. Go ahead and take a screen capture. Now, I'm going to say ignore the ones in the background because those are on a flat plane. They're on a different model. Okay, they are not meant to be sitting on the same surface as this model. Go ahead and take a screen capture. And you show me the wild arc that you are expecting to see between here. Go ahead and show me the crazy curvature that you say should be seen. Go ahead and show me where that is. Okay, take screen capture, and anybody who, if I got any flat earthers in my thing here, be sure to ask Nathan tomorrow to come to this timestamp. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and do it at 1080. So I'll just go like this, change that over to 1080p, make it a nice, pretty one. Actually, let me leave the curve cam there. I'm going to put a blocker here in the way just so it doesn't get confused with the stuff in the back, because the stuff in the back is not something that we're working with, because that is on a different shaped surface. So front, well, that's a big ugly thing. That's okay. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just make that jet black. So back to the curve cam, and we'll go this time at full 1080. So Nathan, go ahead and show me the wild curve that you were looking for on this. And I'm not even perfectly lined up to it, I don't think. But it's going to be close enough, I guess. Actually, no. Let's be perfect. Hold on. Front. No, left. Let's make sure that this is perfectly in line with, I will say, with the, where's that? I'm going to say perfectly in line, center tier of the center post. Oops. Get it straight. One or two more. There we go. Cool. Now, aside from the fact that it is actually canted down to the right, I want you to go ahead and draw a line connecting all these points. And you show me the wild curvature that you were expecting to see. This is representative of 2 miles, slightly zoomed out to, what was the degrees I just had on there? Curve cam. And mind you, my distance did not change. So slightly zoomed out to 11 degrees of zoom. And this is 11 miles away from those 100-meter towers. Oops. Okay, 11 miles away from the 100-meter towers. I want you to draw a line, because this is on a curved surface, representative of at least the basic dimensions, even though I added the ones from the, it's instead of it being 7, it's 9. Go ahead and draw me a line there, buddy. And every flat earther that's here, I really want you to tell him to come back here, make a screen capture of this, and draw a line. What? Now represent 90 miles out? Where do you have 90-mile photographs of wind turbines, James? James likes to come with wild and crazy things here. So go ahead, man. You tell me where you got 90 miles out, and I'll model it right here. But you can't only show me a 90-mile picture. You have to actually show me how high they are. No, I'm not just going to make models, dude. I will represent something that somebody has actually made a photograph of. Build your models in real life and to scale, yeah. James, you have to tell me why, man. You have to give me something to compare to. Otherwise, I'm just going to ignore you. And before you say, because I can't, I can model things away. I can model things here at great distances. That's not a problem. Hasn't proved anything yet. Hey, Flat Earth Hangouts, do me a favor. Take a screen capture of this and find me the curve there. Okay? And deliver it to Nathan for me. Okay? Model them at 90 miles in Australia, then show them upside down. I don't get that. Supergizmo said that trees eat tree food. Because I do not see the point in doing that. If you want to compare something, then that's fine. But if not, I don't care, dude. Ever seen the images of the sun above the atmosphere? Compared to no idea what you're talking about. He wants curvature. Well, duh. I already showed that. Oh, okay. No problem, Crash. You should let clever flatties in and debate. Well, show me a clever flatty first. Oh, and by the way, a little hint to something that's going to be coming here sometime soon. The I got the release of the footage from the nighttime uh, salt and sea tests to include P900 footage, uh, Nathan's footage, Nathan meaning bipolar flat Earth's footage, and let's see. You are the one who thinks you created an Earth on your computer. Who said I created an Earth? I'm creating the proper measurements for curvature, dude. What have you done? Anyway, I got the salt and sea stuff, and I'm gonna be browsing through that over the next day or two just to make sure I can find out everything that's going on. But one thing that I can say is any and all talk from Jaren or Nathan about the fact that it was poor visibility, every bit of that footage says differently. Every bit of it. So, too much for that. Ranty is clever. Uh, Flat Earth Hangouts. Let me tell you something about Ranty. Ranty, having been the person who actually took a photograph one time, meaning that he knew what he was looking at, he knew where he was, he knew what he was photographing in the direction of, said that a red light that was in his photograph was an obstruction light on top of a crane. And then he showed a daytime photo and referred it to a television antenna. When come to find out, after everybody believed that shit, that it was actually a roller coaster. Three totally different things. So I don't consider him terribly credit worthy when it comes to that. Well, see, Pate, let me tell you like this. Everybody came back from the Salton Sea second one and said that it was an utter failure. Jaren even has in the description of his live stream, don't watch this live stream. It was worthless. It was pointless. A girl named, who I found out later, her name is Stacy Silver, I think. She just blurted it all out throughout that whole live stream that she could see clearly across the water, even though both Jaren and Nathan came back, and Nathan even blocked me on his channel, came back and told me that the visibility was horrible. So, oh, and by the way, Nathan also lied to me and said that National Geographic was there at Mark Sargent's request, which is not true. Okay, I finally did get a little bit of correspondence with Ross, and all I'm going to say is that that part is not true. Nat Geo was there because Nat Geo was there, not because of Mark Sargent. Why have you not shown your face or given a name? Who gives a shit? And since when is Sylvester not a name? I don't get that. Let's see. Is there anything else going on in this particular chat? Oh, I'm sorry. Don't want to block this from you guys screen capping this and showing me that wild curvature that you're expecting to see. Look, on the whole thing about showing faces, I'm going to say this again because I've said it enough times. Number one, your face has nothing to do with your credibility. Absolutely nothing. As a matter of fact, you know what? When it comes down to receiving information from people, I don't really care unless I'm looking to receive from a specific person. I don't really care who it is that's telling me the information as long as the information is accurate and can be tested or can be proven. Okay, so I'm going to say it like this. I personally, in my lifetime, I have read probably close to 1,000 books. And those 1,000 books, I have no idea who the author is, nor have I ever questioned who the author is. Okay, I've never even asked because all the information in those books is accurate. Okay, and what I mean by that is when it comes down to reading users' manuals, I have no clue who wrote them, but I'm receiving new information which I can apply. See how that works? Let's see. There is no curve. Show me the curve of the real Earth. We've already done that. Go over to what's his name's channel? I mean, if you're not going to take the stuff that I've produced, go over to Rob Skiba's or to Explosive Truth. They yeah, they showed it just fine there. They bent Lake Erie. Go figure. So they got kind of a twofer on that. Oh, Sydney Silver. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. Somebody said Stacy Silver. I for a while there I was calling her Lucy Lemons. So that's me being dealing with the information that people put out on YouTube. Yeah, and plus Flat Earth Hangouts. When Marble showed his face, he debunked the hotspot claim. So you could take from it what you will, I guess. Yeah, I like the V2 rocket stuff. That's some cool shit. But unfortunately, in today's thing, I'm trying not to be like Jaren and only producing, only bringing as evidence or proof of anything, crappy videos. So should see how much drop there is on that side view. You mean from left to right here, Rumpus? Because that would actually be an unfair thing to show. And let me tell you why I'm saying unfair. Is because I am showing this right now as a cross section. Showing this as a cross section is not going to show it the way you would see it in real life, as if land was filling the entire area. Yeah, sometimes I do this before the lights are out. Yeah. There is curve. That's not what water does, bud. Well, go tell uh, Rob Skiba that, bud. So you want to know what the drop is by cross section? Oh, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and do that, I guess. So view from the left. No, from the front. Sorry. Freeze this. Well, let's see here. I could probably accomplish that just by putting together a plane here. And use planes as measuring tools a lot. Okay, now what we'll do is doing Rumpus a favor here. Rumpus wants to know what would actually be the height difference. Now the overall drop for that bit of space there is going to be so now I need to get a lot closer. Um, the All right. I would put that right there. And where is the bottom of the front one? Did I make these into groups? Oh no, the whole damn thing's front. So shit. Get the dots too close together. There we go. So like this. So that seems to be about right. All right. Close enough for government work, I guess. Tape. Yeah. Distance there is. Wait, I'm doing that wrong, ain't I? Well, the drop from there to the last one there is 23.27 meters on or about. I don't know if I'm actually doing that right. I don't know if that was a fair way to do that. How many pixels that would be in a 1080 shot? Oh, jeez, I moved this thing all the way back over there again. Forgot I moved that camera. Oh, let's go ahead and put it back here. Oops. I had to lower it to get it over there. Oh, that's all the irony. Let's go ahead and put it back up to the height. And then the distance. That's close enough. And then curve cam. And we'll zoom back in. And then we'll 1080p it. So you want to know how many pixels at 1080p zoomed into 1 degree that there should be vertically, correct? In the picture Nathan shows how many pixels we would expect across the whole span for the few turbines. Yeah, but that's not going to work in regular visual. He's talking about from left to right there. Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about from left to right, not from front to back, right, Rumpus? Left to right. Okay, that's what I thought. See, you got me moving everything around here, man. Shit. Of course, the other side of it is that what is the do you know what the distance is that his photograph is taken from the shore to get the side one, the side shot? He's not going to see curve there. The curve there is going to be. That's why I was just showing. You know why? All he needs to do is take a screen cap of that. Let's see. A few pixels? I don't even think it's a few. Hold on. I'm going to get them all in here again. Okay, this is 9 of them across 2 miles. Now let's see here. I need to straighten that back out again, front. No, left, sorry. I gotta put this back at the right height again. Kind of funny, I have to actually sink it down to get this. Curve cam. So that's 1080p. What was that thing? Oh, that was that plane that I just drew. So this is this file. Come on, everything, start up. No, it's all good, man. I got it. So let's see here. I'm going to go over and put this into just give me E firm flat graphic. Then we'll just say turbines MP. Save. Okay. Saving the trouble here, Nathan. Now this is the picture that I just, oops. This is the actual image that I just saved. So I'm going to take this and go over here into Corel. See, you can't even say that I Photoshop things because I don't use Photoshop. So let's go over here. That. So now this is the capture I just did. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. Did I only get 8 of them? I guess I wasn't zoomed out far enough. Shit. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What the hell? How is that possible? Oh, I think I did. Yeah, I wasn't zoomed out. I was zoomed in on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, my bad. I thought it was zoomed out to its extent. Okay, so what I'll do is I will crop this up to about there. Crop the mask. See how close I am to that. Okay, so I am 2 pixels off here. Now, mind you, this is going to arc upwards from right to left. So we have to figure out what's going to be the difference on that. So 2 pixels, that puts it off on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14 pixels. Okay, but like I said, it arcs up because of the camera view. Because I have this on a down slope. I'm looking at it from the side. So let's see, what are we going to have to do about that? The only way we can really do it, because that's like incredibly small amount there. See, because what he's looking for is he's looking for if you were to put the center one up in the middle, how far down does it fall on each side? So that would have to be, what, half of it, right? So 5 pixels in a 1080p shot, roughly. which I'll bet you if I drew a line here, this basically looks like it's straight as an arrow. Oh, wait. Delete. Draw it right here at the base. That's fair to be the base, right? Fucking hate that. Of course it's going to be like that. Okay, now how much of a difference are you seeing here then? See what I'm saying? It's not going to be very much of anything. I have this line. I just drew a straight line from the base here on the base pixel to the base pixel. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It didn't even go up a pixel. That's why I was saying it was difficult to see what was going on by the fact that I had the thing it sloped down from the side. It doesn't even represent one whole pixel in a 1080p shot. So there you go, Nathan. I just saved you the work. And all I did was draw a straight line from one to the other. Does that work for you there, Rumpus? Sylvester is a cool name. Yeah, they didn't think so in high school. Cool. So, accurately modeled out, accurately bent to the scale size of the Earth. FECore cannot 3D. It was an embarrassment if that's actually from them, but actually, how embarrassing is it for people who receive hundreds and hundreds of dollars just so they can give you a PDF with also wrong information in it? So, ladies and gents, it is coming up on 11:30 now, my time, and I gotta take my dog out. So that's about all I got. Oh, geez, I just saw that somebody. Wow. Hey, Gunnar, thanks, man. Really appreciate that. And if anybody else did, if anybody else did any super chat while I was not watching because I had my eyes focused over here doing everything else, then hey, man, thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. So, ladies and gents, I hope you guys had a great 4th of July yesterday. And if you didn't have a 4th of July, then I just hope you had a great day. Y'all have yourselves a nice night.